My name is Tracy Reynolds. I'm a lieutenant in the U.S. Navy, and I'm currently stationed at Region Legal Service Office, Japan, in Yokosuka, Japan. I joined the JAG Corps as a direct accession. Instead of coming in as a law student, I had practiced law for 2 years before I joined. And I came in because I was trying to figure out what I was going to do after my clerkship, and the attorneys that I had met that were civilians practicing before the judge for whom I clerked, the ones that I admired the most and whose practice I wanted to emulate all had former military service, primarily Marines and Navy. And they really were the ones who suggested that I think about the JAG Corps. And when I looked into it, it seemed like the right fit for me. Well, right now, I'm a Deputy Staff Judge Advocate for Commander Navy Forces, Navy Region Japan. It's a 2-star Admiral staff, but that's not what I've always done at the RILSO. I went to Japan in June of 2009 and was underway on the George Washington, an aircraft carrier, less than, 2 weeks after I landed in Japan. And then I was a trial counsel prosecuting cases. And that was only for a few months before I went underway on the USS Essex and was the Febron 11 SJA. So it's an amphibious ready group where you have Marines on your ship and you practice ship-to-shore movements in Thailand and Singapore and the Philippines. I did that for 3 months, and then I went to the Gulf of Aden to fight pirates with Task Force 151 out of Bahrain, and then came back to Japan to prosecute more cases, and then after that went up onto, we call it the Hill, to work for the commander. I keep getting to do these amazing things that I've never even heard of before, and civilian practice, while interesting and challenging and has its own rewards, doesn't have the sense of mission or accomplishment that I've experienced in the Navy and in the JAG Corps. I get to be right on the cutting edge of legal issues that are pertinent for national security, for rule of law development, for human rights, and that's just not something that you can find out in your regular practice. And it's so rewarding, and I get to see the world. Operation Tomodachi was an amazing, amazing experience. I was in my office when the earthquake hit on 11 March, and it was like walking on the bulkheads of a ship. I mean, the entire building was rolling back and forth. And by the time we got down to the parking lot, we knew something big had happened. The swimming pool across the street, all the water had come out and was washing down the road. And we set up 24/7 legal operations within a few hours of the earthquake. We were on 18 hours on and 6 hours off for a month. We moved 8,000 people out of Japan. We coordinated many ships within the destroyer community to provide support and supplies. We sent freshwater barges to the Fukushima reactor to try to cool down the rods. We figured out how to get third country national spouses access to the United States with infants that didn't have documentation showing they were citizens, because we wanted people to go where they felt safe. And it was so inspiring to see how the Japanese people responded. They were so grateful for us just doing our job, and their perseverance and pluck and spirit and response to probably the most horrific disaster I've ever seen. It was just inspiring. I live out in town. My neighborhood's called Mobori Kaigan, and all of my neighbors are Japanese. And my neighbor came to my front door and said that it was okay for husbands and wives and children to leave, that he understood why that was important, but that I couldn't leave, that they needed us here. And that really touched me, because we were working very hard, but gosh, we weren't suffering the way the Japanese people were. And they were so grateful and ready, and we really united and came together. Tomodachi means friendship, and you could really feel it. For me, it's great to be able to use the skills that I have to help my country. I'm female, I'm not very big, I can't carry a 50-pound ruck, I probably couldn't carry a 200-pound Marine out of the line of fire, but I can write, and I can speak, and I can take complex issues and distill them down so that decision makers can have the information they need to act. And that's the way that I can serve my country. I'm so lucky to be an American. I've been to Afghanistan, I've been to Africa, I've been throughout the Middle East, I've been to Japan, I've been to the Philippines, Cambodia, Laos, Singapore, Australia. there is really no place in the world that's better to be a woman than in America. And the very least I can do is serve to try to give back.